Hello everybody, so today I'm reviewing A Touch of Sin directed by Jia Zhangke, or it's changed about in the UK and other places to Zhangke Jai, just like they do with Park Chan-wook, with Chan-wook Park and all those type of things where they change about Chinese and Korean and Japanese people's name. This is a Chinese film, it's the languages in it are Mandarin and Cantonese, and there's a tiny bit of English in there at one point. A Touch of Sin tells 4 different stories, and all the 4 different stories show acts, well, random acts of violence. This is a really interesting film. I had not seen anything else by Jia Zhangke. I know that his other films apparently are more like about society and the sociable things in life and things with Still Life and The World. I am going to check them out. Definitely after seeing this film. I know some people were sort of a bit weird about this film because of the violence it had in it, and his other films apparently not having really any violence or anything in them. But this is a film that I went blind into pretty much. I hadn't watched any trailers of it. I hadn't looked at any pictures about it. All I knew was the story, and that story sounded interesting to me, so that's why I went and saw it. And this was a really great film. This has so many great things to it, and it's some of the finest filmmaking that I have seen in a long time, and that's something big for me to say. Yes, it does have some script issues at points with some of the things said in the script, and some pacing issues at points, but that's the only bad thing I have to say about it. It's still a really incredible film. Now, the acts of violence, this isn't violence for the sake of violence with films like Killing Them Softly, which is a film I do enjoy, but that had violence in it that was just to shock you at points. And recently had Sabotage, which was just violence for the sake of violence. This does violence in a way that is interesting, and it's very stylish violence that reminds you of old martial arts and old revenge films as well, and it's done in a really interesting and incredible way, and the choreographing of this film is amazing. There's one scene where they do a really cool camera trick as well with something happening, and it was just so well done. This film is really good filmmaking, and I highly suggest that you check this out, because if you want to see a film that just knows exactly what it's doing, even with those little problems I said about it, knows what it's doing, and it's pretty perfect in my opinion. There's one really great thing about this film, that I got to the second act of the film when it goes into the second story, and I was like, wow, this blew my mind, this thing. The first character says a word. I'm not going to ruin this, because I want, maybe if you do watch it or anything, or if you've seen it, to say if you got this point as well. There's a word said, and then throughout the rest of the film, with every single character, you see this subject or this word that is said, and then in your head you also think of what is really this meaning to this, and it can have 2 different meanings and things, but it was something that really worked, and something that was interesting and had me thinking. And when a film can make me think that much, that's really great, because this film is one of the first films in a while that has made me think so much because of its subject that it does. Now, with all the characters, there is a great amount of emotion that is created from this film, because all the characters are different from each other, and there's something really great they did with all 4 stories. They just fit it all well together, but because of the characters being so differently, or working so differently, and being completely different characters from each other, it was just something so interesting to see. I want to probably go in more depth of what these characters did, but I don't want to spoil the film today. But there's something that they did, and in the way that the whole film went, it was interesting, and just, I liked, like I said, with the whole subject going through every single story, everything worked here. The actors all did a great job. The script is, yes, very well written. It may have some problems at times, but it's not actually really a terrible script or anything. It's a really amazing script, and has some really great moments. It's got some nice little bits of humour in there as well, some dark humour and things, and it worked. It really worked, and it's a perfect film in my opinion. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, yes, just because of these tiny little problems I have with some of the things, with just some of the script not working at points, but altogether it's only like maybe about 1 scene in the film where the script doesn't really work, but it's still an amazing film, and I really suggest that you check it out. I know it's on the American Netflix, and yes, if you're in America and you have Netflix, then watch this, or if you're in the UK and you can get American Netflix, I do have American Netflix on my computer, but I wanted to see this in the cinema, so I saw it in the cinema, but it's on there, so if you want to watch this, then I highly suggest you check it out. It is a really great foreign film, and it's almost one of my favourites already, just because of what it did. It just was really interesting and clever, and the cinematography is just beautiful, and the choreographing is amazing, and the violence was violence that was done in a stylish and creative way and was very, very good, and felt like it's paying homage to other films as well. So I highly, highly suggest you check out A Touch of Sin. That is my review for today. If you've seen A Touch of Sin, say on there if you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you've seen other films by this director, do enjoy his other films as well. I am definitely going to be checking them out after seeing this, because I think I'm going to buy them, and I know Masters Cinema released a well and a really nice thing. So yeah, I'll probably be watching those, and maybe I'll talk about them, or they'll be in the next DVD and Blu-ray collection update. Babbling on right now, but thank you very much, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.